I'm Jobeth Wagner, and I play the role of Timeshe, the water nymph.
Thank you, Jobeth. How did you get involved as Timeshe in Spin-off Fabrications?
Well, my friend Kelly told me about the auditions, and she was saying that she was going to go audition for this movie, and the director wanted her to go and audition at Greenhorn Park, and she didn't want to go by herself, so she asked me if I was interested, and so I decided it would be a good learning experience. I wasn't really expecting to get a part in the film.
What did you think of Timeshe when you first read the script?
It seemed like a really fun part to play because she's very different, and I've never played a part with, like, I played a character who spoke a different language, especially a made-up language.
Na floren, na sosa, slona suera leno safe lermu nasa soma.
She doesn't speak like usual speaking part, does she? She has this. Can you describe that a bit?
The language reminds me a lot of, like, Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite books when I was little.
Nymphish.
It's still one of my favorite books, yeah. And the Nymphish reminds me a lot of the elves. And it's almost, it has kind of a musical quality to it.
It's poetic, right?
Yeah.
Very poetic. And she uses that almost as like a teaching tool when she's teaching Visira.
Well, it's all so diverse. Like everyone, all the characters in the film have their own views on spirituality, and so they're all different.
And knowing that all there is interpretation.
Sloha ser swe nasalo na nil soma, hana swafe na sosa.
Without reason.
Slona fana.
I remember filming that scene. I was sick that day, and I had to be sitting in the river with like half my dress in the river, and it was freezing cold. But yeah, I had a tarp to sit on because there were all these like centipedes and different bugs that would come crawling up on me.
You think they're attracted to the goth like dress?
Maybe they just were like, oh, it's a water nymph.
What about the? Tell us about like the dress and of the character. Like you did some scenes and then had to you ended up reshooting.
Oh yeah, the look of the character changed after we filmed some of the scenes and ended up having to go back and reshoot them. She started out very, just, I don't know, she reminded me kind of like kind of fairy princess looking. Like I had my hair like in the perfect ringlets and up and back all nice, and I had the rosy cheeks and the bright red lips, and I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling the character coming out of that. And so I remember just being like, hey, can I glue some rosebush thorns to my face and make her a little more wild looking, kind of mess my hair a little more. And yeah, he liked that idea.
Yeah, she ends up looking like a kind of like a Renaissance girl.
Yeah.
So you've been to a Renaissance fair before, haven't you?
Yeah,
and
I love Renaissance fairs.
Yes, what do you like about it?
I love all the fight choreography and the weapons and that kind of thing.
Could you see Timeshe with a weapon?
Oh yeah.
Really?
But then again, she probably wouldn't need a weapon because she'd just use her powers. Probably like cause the river to flood and just destroy someone.
And so how do you see Timeshe in the film?
I see her as kind of a dark character and powerful.
So what about the soundtrack to this film? How do you feel about it?
I love it. I love all the instruments used for Timeshe's music. It's very fairy-like.
Can you tell me about like the movement choreography that you do?
Yeah, all of Timeshe's moves are very like exact and precise, and they all have a purpose. She never moves her hand without doing it for a reason. Like, he went through the script with me, and for each line, he was kind of like, oh, well, when you say this line, you're going to move your hands like this because it's going to represent this while you're saying that. Yeah.
Is it like kind of like a hula dancer?
Kind of. I guess so. Because, yeah, hula dancers use their hands to tell stories. There's one scene where I'm pulling the other nymphs out of the ground, out of the earth, and kind of sending them on their way.
So you're kind of like a nymph in Greek mythology. You're giving like your soul to the earth. Cool. Describe the start of the movie when there's a big Fibonacci spiral. I think it's pronounced right. It's like a huge spin, and to me personally, it reminds me of like some type of hallucinogenic experience. And do you think this film, in a way, is something that like a lot of people from the '60s generation would be interested in, because they were into they wanted to leave the dominant paradigm of that time, and then they wanted to go and they're using hallucinogens to experience something else. And now we have this film that in itself is almost like a hallucinogenic experience, because it's taking you to a separate reality than what you're normally used to, and it's helping you grow.
I think a lot of people will like this film, even just visually. Just it's beautiful to look at. Every scene is like a separate painting.
Yeah. And now what about Sophia, who plays Vasira in the role? What's your relationship with her? And
oh, we get along great. We have a lot of fun, like when we go and film. We had a long drive to Chico, and I rode in the car with her, and we talked the whole time, and there's a lot of laughing. I actually remember her mom was driving, and my voice started going just because we were talking back and forth, and she was like, you have to be quiet, no more talking, you're going to lose your voice, which was actually pretty funny, because when we got there and actually filmed the scene, Pete really liked how my voice sounded, because it was really low and kind of scratchy, and he was like, hey, can you get sick every time?
Slona Nilmas, Slona Fana, Slona Sosa, Slona Floren, Slona Swaheri Fomi Shosala.
Let's see. So back to your personal life. There's like a lot of you have a lot of adopted members, including yourself and your family. Can you talk about them a bit?
Well, I have 4 other siblings. My older brother is adopted by my mom, and then I'm adopted by my dad, and then my younger sister isn't adopted, and then my youngest brother and youngest sister are both adopted by both my parents.
Okay. So can you tell me how the 2 younger ones got adopted?
Well, my mom works for a crisis pregnancy center, or volunteers. She's the client services director, and this girl came in who was pregnant. Her family members didn't know she was pregnant, and so she needed our family to take care of her baby for a while she kind of, straightened things out. So we took him home. My mom took him home from the hospital. It was like 3 days after he was born, and we took care of him for a while. When we went to take him back to his mom, he was with her like one night, and she decided that she wanted us to adopt him. And so my parents were like, yeah, we'll adopt him. We love this baby.
Your parents are evangelical Christians, correct?
Yes.
Cool. So how do you think they would see your character and this type of film as related to like their view of the world?
Well, I'm a Christian too, so I believe what they believe. I've been raised that way, and so I could answer that with the same way I feel.
Cool. Go ahead.
I love just the artisticness of the film and all the nature that's shown in it and stuff, and I believe that God gave us, our imaginations and creativity, and so it's just another way of bringing it out there.